The gap between good and great is closed through years, not months. Quick reminder, adapt these principles to your actual reality, your constraints, your family structure, your situation. Here's today's principle. Elite athletes aren't born elite. They develop gradually over years of sustained engagement and appropriate challenge. This helps you make better decisions about what to prioritize now versus later. Research shows most athletes who reach elite levels have been consistently engaged in their sport for 8 to 12 years, not training like professionals from day one, but building progressively through developmentally appropriate stages. At this foundation stage, your child is establishing the base they'll build on for years. The quality of that foundation matters far more than current performance level. Think of it like constructing a building. You could rush the foundation to get to visible floors faster, but that compromises everything built on top. Or invest time in a solid foundation, less impressive now, but creates capacity for real height later. Here's what a solid foundation looks like. Varied movement experiences. Not hyper-specialized training, but broad physical literacy. Variety at this age builds athletic versatility that becomes advantage later. Positive relationship with challenge. Your child should be learning that effort leads to improvement, that challenge is normal and manageable, that setbacks are temporary. Intrinsic motivation. They should be playing because they want to, not because they have to. That internal drive sustains long-term development. Basic skill development without burnout. Learning fundamental skills through age-appropriate methods that don't exhaust them. Family situations create different paths to the same destination. Co-parenting with someone who wants to push harder? Advocate for appropriate pacing while accepting you can't control every decision. Create balance through your time with your child. Finances constraining? Focus on what's free or low cost. Unstructured play, variety of activities, enjoyment over intensity. The foundation doesn't require expensive programs. Multiple kids at different stages? No single season at this age determines future outcomes. Missing opportunities now doesn't close doors later if the foundation stays solid. Here's what parents get wrong. They see other kids who seem ahead and panic. But you can't see whether that early success comes from physical maturation that will equalize later, whether that child still loves their sport or is burning out, whether those skills were developed for long-term capacity or short-term results. Early performance is not predictive. Late bloomers are real. Where an athlete is at age 10 doesn't reliably predict where they'll be at 16 or 20. What does predict long-term success? Sustained engagement. Continuing to show up, continuing to develop, continuing to enjoy the process. When comparing your child to others, remember, you're comparing snapshots, not trajectories. Practically, this means don't make irreversible decisions based on current performance. Specializing too early, dropping other activities, making your child's identity about one sport. These close options when you should be keeping them open. Focus on year-over-year progress, not week-to-week results. Is your child more skilled than last year? More engaged? More confident? Resist the pressure to accelerate artificially. Development has its own timeline. Rushing it usually backfires. Understand what level of competition actually serves development. Your child doesn't need to be on the most competitive team at this age. They need appropriate challenge without being overwhelmed. Dealing with pressure from others? You might say, I understand wanting them to have every advantage. What I'm learning is that at this age, the advantage comes from building a solid foundation, not from being on the most elite team. Here's something crucial. Your child is not on a timeline to nowhere. If they're developing appropriately now, they have years to continue improving. Missing opportunities now doesn't mean missing opportunities forever. But burning them out now, making them hate their sport now, or narrowing their development too early, those things do close doors permanently. So trust the process. Slow and steady development beats rushed and forced development. Building foundation correctly creates capacity for real achievement later. The elite athletes who inspire your child today, they weren't elite at your child's age, they built toward it. Year by year, stage by stage, with appropriate challenge and sustained engagement. Your child can do the same, but only if you give them the time and space to develop at their own pace.